When I placed the divorce papers on the table in front of my husband, I saw him flinch. It was just for a second, but for a man as cold and steady as Mark, even a moment's hesitation felt like a victory. He picked up the documents and started to read. 10 minutes passed in silence. Finally, he looked up at me, his face unreadable. "Are you sure about this?" he asked. I just nodded, keeping my expression neutral. He picked up a pen and signed his name on the line. "Thank you," he said, his voice flat. "But there's a 1-month cooling off period. During that time, can Lily stay with me? Once the divorce is finalized, I'll send her back to you. I won't fight you for custody." He pushed the signed papers back across the table. "Okay," I smiled, picking them up. I looked at his face for a few long seconds, trying to commit this moment to memory, then turned and walked out of the room. This was it, a clean break. It was the final chapter of a love that had only ever gone in one direction. I had met Mark Thompson through a family friend. The first time I saw him, I thought I'd won the lottery. My heart felt like it was going to beat out of my chest. He was the same senior from college I'd had a secret crush on for 2 years. I assumed that after graduation, our story was over, but fate had other plans, setting us up on a blind date. From there, everything felt like it fell into place. I agreed to date him without a second thought, and he didn't object. We were married within a year, and not long after, our daughter, Lily, was born. I chose her name carefully. Mark had such a cold personality, and I hoped our child would be warm and bright to balance him out. As it turned out, Lily's personality was the complete opposite of her father's, but not in the way I expected. She was fiery and spirited. Mark was often confused by her, saying she wasn't like either of us. But I knew better. She was exactly like me, or at least the me I used to be. The calm, quiet woman he knew was just a role I had learned to play. 3 years into our marriage, Mark missed another New Year's Eve. I took Lily to see the fireworks by myself, kissing her soft little cheek as she giggled. "You're a silly mommy," she said, squirming in my arms. I held her tighter, a few tears falling onto the bunny ears of her hat without her noticing. I didn't want to be apart from her, not for a single day, but I knew Mark was the only one who could give her the best life, the best education. It was better than being dragged around by a mother who was determined to start over. A few weeks later, I gave him the papers. He didn't ask many questions before signing his name. We had been husband and wife for years, but once that divorce certificate was in my hands, my one-sided love story would finally be over. I went home and started packing, getting Lily ready to go with me. For all her fiery spirit, Lily could be incredibly well-behaved. She sat quietly on my lap during the whole train ride, just looking out the window at the passing scenery. An older woman sitting next to us was completely taken with her, telling me over and over how cute and good she was. Lily reached out her little hand and patted the woman's arm gently. "Hello, Grandma," she said in a sweet, clear voice that made everyone around us smile. A young woman came over, holding up her phone. "Excuse me," she said excitedly. "I got a video of your daughter. Can I post it online? She's just so adorable." Before I could say anything, Lily nodded. "Sure," she said. The girl squealed with delight. I couldn't help but laugh. Well, if my little boss says it's okay, then I guess it's okay. I led Lily off the train and onto the streets of Port Blossom, ready for a month of freedom. She wasn't just my daughter. She was my little travel buddy. I held her small hand in mine, thinking how cute we must look. I snapped a picture and posted it online with the caption, "Off on an adventure with my travel partner." Minutes later, my phone rang. It was Mark. "Where did you take Lily?" he demanded. I gave Lily a kiss on the cheek before answering. "We're in Port Blossom. I'm planning to show her around. Have some fun." "Don't let her get too tired," he said. "Stay safe. Don't go out at night. Be back at the hotel early." I mumbled my agreement, a little surprised. When had Mark become so concerned? I brushed it off. "I understand," I said. "Do you know anyone in Port Blossom?" he asked. I froze for a second. I hadn't really thought about that. To put his mind at ease, I lied. "Yes, I have a friend here." "Good," he said. Before I could ask him what he meant, he hung up. That was strange. Still, his question gave me an idea. I decided to post on my social media feed again to see if anyone I knew happened to be in the area. I was surprised to see a bunch of likes and comments almost immediately. One comment stood out. It was from an old friend from my university days. "Where are you? Can I buy you a meal?" I called him right away. "Alex? Alex Carter? Are you in Port Blossom?" "I am," he said, his voice warm and familiar. "What are you doing here? Did your husband come with you?" "No, he's busy. It's just me and Lily." The man on the other end of the line chuckled. "Your husband is always busy, isn't he? Seems like he never has time for you." "Can't be helped," I said, forcing a light tone. "He has to earn money for me." I didn't say the rest of what I was thinking. He has to earn my alimony payment. The next day, I took Lily to have lunch with Alex. Lily was already a pro with chopsticks, and Alex was completely charmed by how poised she was. "How about I become her godfather?" he suggested with a smile. Before I could even answer, Lily raised her hand. "Okay," she declared. I guess that was out of my hands. She had chosen him herself. That afternoon, Lily was in heaven as Alex bought her a mountain of stuffed animals. "Alex, you're spoiling her," I said, laughing. "She just has to look at something and you buy it. I don't know how we're going to get all of this home." Lily looked at me with big, pleading eyes, worried I would make her leave her new treasures behind. She turned to Alex. "Godfather?" Alex immediately swooped in. "Don't worry, Godfather will get them home for you," he promised. Lily beamed and snuggled up next to him to play with her new toys. I was so annoyed I could have ground my teeth. That little traitor. I took a picture of the two of them and posted it with the caption, "So mad, I've been replaced." A minute later, my phone rang. It was Mark. "That stuffed animal. Alex bought it for her, didn't he?" Had he been watching my social media feed this whole time? He did. So what? I heard Mark let out a cold, dismissive laugh. "You're on vacation, not moving in. What's the point of buying so many toys? How are you going to deal with them? Do you ever have a plan?" My mind went blank. Here it was again, one of his classic lectures. "Speechless, aren't you? Use your brain for once," he continued, his voice dripping with contempt. "And another thing. Why did you let Lily sit so close to him? She's your daughter. Letting her get that close to a stranger? If Alex has some kind of problem, if something happens to Lily, I wonder how you'll live with the regret." I felt my heart pound and my hands start to shake. "Mark, what are you talking about? How could you say something like that about your own daughter? Are you even human?" Just then, Lily scrambled into my arms, holding up a small teddy bear. "Mommy, look! Isn't he cute? Play with me, Mommy. Don't be on the phone anymore." Her voice snapped me back to reality. She was right. I had already decided to divorce him. Why was I still listening to him lecture me and twist things around? "If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up," I said and ended the call. Honestly, in the first few years of our marriage, I didn't think much about the way Mark treated me. But over time, I realized he was a master of emotional abuse, of making me feel small and incompetent without me even realizing it. He never had a kind word for me. The second something wasn't done exactly his way, he would become sarcastic and critical. A friend once told me he had this baseless need to control me. I knew it wasn't healthy. I had to get away from him before I completely lost myself. I looked down at my daughter, happily playing in my lap. Mark had always been decent enough to Lily, but if I, his favorite target, was gone, would he turn his negativity on her? For the past few years, I had been a stay-at-home mom. I hadn't worked since college. How could someone like me raise a child on my own? It was just like Mark had told me when I first brought up divorce. "Without me, you're nothing. You can't do anything. You were smart in school, but the real world isn't school. Don't overestimate yourself. Think about it. If you really want a divorce, bring me the papers. If you're just making threats, I'll let it slide this one time." He probably never thought I'd actually show up with the papers. And I never thought he'd sign them so easily. But looking back, I think he just wanted to watch me fail without him. "Godfather, how are we going to take all these toys home?" Lily asked, fiddling with her hair. "I want to bring every single one." "That's easy," Alex replied casually. I can help you pack them up and ship them. Or we could even hire a driver to take you home. Express delivery is an option too. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. Lily clapped her hands. Wow, Mommy, Godfather is amazing. He's so much better than Daddy. Daddy always says Mommy is silly and never helps her think of ideas. I almost choked. Lily, don't say things like that. She pouted. But I'm not making it up. That's what Dad says. He says, is your brain just for decoration? My face flushed red. I had no idea she was so blunt. Alex quickly changed the subject. Lily is so smart for her age. She's only 2, but she speaks so clearly. I felt a little thrill of pride. I think she's smart too, but her IQ test came back as just average. Maybe she's just clever. I remembered a time I overheard her reciting a complex poem from memory while playing with her toys. I was so sure she was a child prodigy that I took her to get tested, but the results were normal. When I told Mark, he said it was his genes that made her smart, and that my genes were probably holding her back. I actually believed him at the time and felt guilty for months. It wasn't until a neighbor set me straight, calling Mark delusional and reminding me that I was an intelligent, capable person, that I started to see things clearly. Thinking about it now, I really missed that neighbor. She encouraged me for 2 years. Without her, I might never have found the courage to leave. Years of marriage to Mark had almost made me forget the lively, confident person I used to be. I had tried so hard to be the perfect, gentle wife he and his parents wanted, and I see now what a huge mistake that was. Mommy, Godfather said we're going out to play again tomorrow, Lily said, pulling me from my thoughts. I stroked her head. Alex, you don't have to trouble yourself. I can take her out. Lily is the most obedient, she declared happily, hugging my arm. You just got to Port Blossom. You don't know your way around yet, Alex insisted. Let me show you around. It's the weekend, and I have plenty of time. Hearing this, Lily clapped her hands again. Godfather is so much better than Daddy. Daddy never takes me out on weekends. He just plays games. Can Godfather be my new daddy? I quickly covered her mouth. Alex, don't pay any attention to her. You know how kids are. Alex just waved his hand, smiling. Lily is the smartest kid I've ever met. Don't worry about it. I'll pick you 2 up tomorrow. You should get some rest. He stood up to leave. Good night, Lily. Sleep well. We have a big day tomorrow. Lily, her mouth still covered by my hand, couldn't speak, but she waved her little hands and nodded enthusiastically. After he left, I had Lily stand in front of me and I knelt to be at her eye level. Lily, I said seriously, you can't just say everything that pops into your head. Do you understand? Her little lip quivered and tears started streaming down her face. Wow, she cried. My heart melted instantly and I pulled her into a hug. Daddy is mean, she sobbed into my shoulder. I don't like him. Godfather is nice. I like Godfather. I sighed and held her tight. If she knew I was divorcing her father and that I wasn't planning on taking her with me, how would she handle it? Lily was fast asleep, but I was tossing and turning. I didn't want to give her to Mark. She would have a comfortable life with him materially. But what if his toxic behavior rubbed off on her? She was such a good kid. I couldn't bear the thought of him corrupting her. But I didn't have a job or any way to make money. That was my weakness. I couldn't give her the life she deserved. With me, we'd just be scraping by. The next morning, I woke up to find Lily sitting beside me, holding my phone. Lily, why do you have my phone? She handed it to me. Uncle Alex called. I told him you were sleeping and that you'd call him back. I called Alex and we agreed to meet in the lobby in half an hour. Lily had put on a headband with 2 little cat ears and looked absolutely adorable. The first thing Alex said when he saw us was how cute she was. After a long day of playing, Lily was tired and sweaty. I hurried her back to the hotel, worried she might catch a cold. But when I pushed open the door to our room, my heart stopped. Mark was sitting on the sofa. The bag in my hand dropped to the floor with a thud. Lily, who had been dozing on my shoulder, woke up with a start. She turned her head and saw her father. I think I heard her whisper a tiny curse word, but when I looked at her, she was just staring blankly at Mark. Maybe I'd imagined it. Mark casually tossed a stuffed animal aside. It rolled off the sofa and landed on the carpet. Didn't I tell you not to go out at night? He began, his voice low and menacing. Do you have any idea what could happen to you two if you ran into the wrong person? Even if you don't care about yourself, Lily is innocent. Why would you put her at risk? I gently placed Lily on the bed. Lily, if you're sleepy, just go to sleep, I whispered, sending a quick text message. She murmured something and was asleep in seconds. I threw my phone on the nightstand and faced him. What are you doing here? He sneered. It's obvious you can't handle raising a child. I came to take her back. It seems Lily isn't the wild one here. You are. I laughed, a bitter sound. You haven't lifted a finger since she was born. I've raised her all by myself. You've never changed a single diaper or fed her a single meal. What right do you have to say I'm doing a bad job? Do you even know how? Mark's face darkened. Who taught you to talk to me like that? What happened to the gentle, obedient woman I married? That's why I married you, you know. Because you listened. Look at you now. It's those friends of yours, isn't it? They've corrupted you. Don't you know a wife is supposed to obey her husband? Looking back on the last 3 years, I felt a wave of pure disgust. Mark, you have really disappointed me. He looked stunned. Those were his words, the ones he used on me all the time. Now I was throwing them back at him. His expression turned ugly. Bethany, what's that supposed to mean? How have I disappointed you? How dare you say you're disappointed in me? I laughed again. So you finally understand how that feels, huh? You can't even handle hearing it once? Have you ever thought about how many times you've said it to me over the past 3 years? I put up with it because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I was so naive. I thought being the perfect wife by your standards was the right thing to do. Now I see how foolish I was. If it weren't for Lily, you probably would have turned me into a helpless fool who couldn't do anything on her own. Did you really think I was only good for staying home and raising children? His face grew even darker. The divorce agreement is signed, I said, my voice firm. It's not appropriate for you to be in my room. You should leave. He glanced at Lily sleeping on the bed. I'm taking her with me. I stepped in front of him, blocking his path. You promised me this month. He looked at my arm, barring his way, and grabbed it, his grip like iron. I changed my mind. I'm taking her now. Let's see how much fun you can have in Port Blossom all by yourself, you heartless mother. With that, he shoved past me and scooped Lily up from the bed. Startled awake, she began to cry, wailing loudly, Mommy! I want Mommy! I don't want you, I want Mommy! I tried to grab her back, but the difference in our strength was too great. He started carrying her toward the door. I grabbed him from behind. Put her down! You're scaring her! Lily was screaming hysterically now, and I was screaming at Mark, pulling at his shirt. Just as he was dragging me toward the door, it swung open. It was Alex. My heart settled. The text message I'd sent him just said, Help, room 305. I had deliberately left the door unlatched. Taking advantage of Mark's moment of surprise, Alex swiftly took Lily from his arms. When Lily saw him, she cried even harder. Godfather, save me! Daddy's trying to kill me! She looked at Mark with wide, terrified eyes. Godfather, call the police. Have them arrest him. Alex looked at Lily's distraught state and his face hardened with anger. Mark, is this how you act? As a husband and a father? Mark's face was contorted with rage. Bethany Palmer, he roared, and his hand flew towards my face. It happened so fast. Alex was holding Lily and couldn't intervene. I closed my eyes, bracing for the impact. Stop! What are you doing? 2 police officers suddenly rushed into the room and restrained Mark. Everyone froze, stunned. Why were the police here? Before any of us could react, Lily did. She let out a loud, theatrical wail. Uncle Policeman, save me. My daddy wants to kill me and hit my mommy. I'm still young. I don't want to die. Where on earth was she getting this stuff? The police officers heard her, and their expressions became serious. They took all of us straight to the police station. It turned out they had been doing a routine check on the hotel floor when they heard the shouting from our room and came to investigate. Their body cameras had recorded the whole thing, including Mark's attempt to hit me. At the station, Lily sat in a female officer's arms, sobbing as she listed her father's crimes. To me, it sounded like she was framing him. He hits Mommy, he yells at Mommy, he won't let her have friends. He calls her stupid, and he said she was cheating. I covered my face with my hands. This was beyond embarrassing. Where did she learn all this? Alex, meanwhile, was looking at Lily with a look of pure admiration. That IQ test must have been wrong. Mark turned pale. Are you crazy, Jenna? He hissed at her. Shut up. I'm your father. What nonsense are you talking about? Did your mother put you up to this? The female officer glared at him. Focus on your statement. She's barely 2 years old. How could she lie? I lowered my head, feeling guilty. In the end, Mark was officially classified as a domestic abuser. As they led him away, I could have sworn I saw a tiny, triumphant smile on Lily's lips. I held Lily tightly as we left the station. The hotel staff apologized profusely for giving Mark a key, thinking we were just a vacationing couple. I wasn't angry. It wasn't their fault. I packed our bags, and Alex took us to a new place he had arranged. Holding Lily, I sat quietly on the sofa, my mind racing. She reached out her tiny hand and gently patted my face. I looked down at her and couldn't help but ask, Are you really my Lily? She hesitated for just a second, then gave me a dazzlingly charming smile. Yes, Mommy, I'm Lily, Mommy's little helper. Overcome with emotion, I pulled her into a tight hug as tears streamed down my face. A few days later, I came across a video that had gone viral online. It was the clip of me and Lily on the train. The comments were full of people gushing over how well-behaved and sweet she was. I want a baby just like her. Does such an obedient child really exist? Her mom has great style. Can we find her? I want to see more of this baby. 2 days after that, I got a phone call. A company had seen the video and wanted us to shoot a mother-daughter commercial. They said we were a perfect fit and had gone to great lengths to find me. At first, I was hesitant, but then Lily said, Mommy can earn money to support me now. It was like a light bulb went on. If I had a way to make money, I could support Lily. I could take her with me. After what had happened at the hotel, there was no way I was leaving her with Mark. I was genuinely afraid he might hurt her. I messaged Mark directly, I want a divorce and I'm taking Lily with me. He refused. Bethany, be good and come home. He wrote back. Let's not get a divorce. We're fine, the three of us. Why do you insist on this? But you already agreed, I typed. That's because I thought you were just acting out, trying to threaten me. He replied. I thought you'd come to your senses during the cooling off period. Then I saw Alex's post on your social media. He's clearly got his claws in you, don't you see? I smiled a sad, helpless smile. Mark, you're hopeless. Bethany, I'm telling you, I don't agree to the divorce. The cooling off period isn't over. If I don't agree, you can't get divorced. I took a deep breath. Mark, we can't go on like this. After everything that happened, we can't go back. And honestly, I don't want to. I've had enough of that life. I won't get divorced, he insisted. One day you'll understand how good I was to you. You don't understand the world. It's complicated out there. Do you really think you can make it on your own? You have no skills. You'll have to rely on the money I give you. You can't support yourself and Lily. You don't need to worry about that. I won't get a divorce. The call ended. I knew he had changed his mind and this was going to get messy. I gritted my teeth and called his father. If Mark refuses to finalize the divorce, I said, my voice shaking but firm, I will file a lawsuit. And when I do, I will present the police report documenting his domestic violence. If you care about your family's reputation, you'll make him divorce me. Otherwise, I will make sure all of your friends and colleagues know that your son is an abuser. His father roared at me, calling me a vicious woman, but in the end, I won. He forced Mark to go through with it. The day the cooling-off period ended, he was there to make sure Mark signed the final papers. And just like that, I was free. Free from the man who had constantly belittled me, manipulated me, and made me feel worthless. It was only after I left with Lily that I truly understood what it felt like to be alive. The constant pressure was gone. I felt refreshed, healthier. I wasn't having trouble sleeping anymore, and my headaches had vanished. The commercial I shot with Lily was a huge success. After that, the offers came flooding in. Lily's expressiveness on camera was incredible. Everyone called her a natural talent. Watching her move so confidently in the studio, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Thank you, Lily. Thank you for being here to protect me. My name is Jenna, and I'm 20 years old. Or at least, I was. I just watched my mother take her own life. She had suffered from depression for years, and I know exactly why. It was because of my father, because of his relentless psychological abuse and control for 2 decades. My relationship with him was cold, to say the least. I despised him. In 20 years, I never heard him say a single kind word to my mother, yet he shamelessly accepted her care and devotion. He treated our home like his kingdom, and everyone in it like his subjects. I tried to save my mother, but after 20 years of his control, she was too far gone. I couldn't pull her out of the darkness. It wasn't until today that I realized I might have been the only thing keeping her here. I had just started university and found a wonderful boyfriend who loved me. My mother probably felt her work was done. After making sure I was happy, she swallowed a bottle of pills. I cried for 3 days, praying it was all a nightmare. I cried until I passed out. When I opened my eyes again, I was a baby. The first person I saw was my father, looking 20 years younger. What terrible luck. I had been reborn. I pulled my own hair hard. The pain confirmed it. This was real. I started crying again, this time for real, until he finally picked me up and put me in my mother's arms. The moment I saw her, young and healthy, I cried even harder. If I could do this all over again, I would save her. I would keep her away from that monster. In my past life, my mother suffered from severe postpartum depression. This time, I learned to be the perfect baby. I was well-behaved, obedient, and slept on a schedule. I made things so easy for her that postpartum depression never even had a chance. Then, I started my rescue mission. I used my tiny baby hands to unlock her phone and search for terms like emotional abuse, domestic violence, and gaslighting, making sure the algorithms would start feeding her related content. When I was 1.5, I accidentally crawled into the neighbor's yard, forcing my mom to meet her. This neighbor was a strong, straightforward woman. With her help, I knew my mom would start to see my father for who he really was. How did I know all this? Because that neighbor was my boyfriend's mother, and the baby blowing bubbles in the playpen next to me? That was him. In my past life, my father isolated my mother, never letting her go out or have friends. When her depression hit, there was no one to help. This time, I would be a social butterfly for her. I would expand her world. My mom always said I was so lively and outgoing, but she had no idea what a heavy responsibility I was carrying in my tiny body. After a year of my subtle efforts, my mom finally started to see that my dad was manipulating her. Of course, I helped things along. I would visit my future mother-in-law and tell her stories about my dad, mixing truth with fiction to show her how sad my mom's life was. Then, my mom filed for divorce. I overheard her plan. She would take me on a trip for a month, but then send me back to my dad. I couldn't let that happen. During that month, I had to make my mom see her own worth and find a way for us to make money. I had been waving a little terracotta warrior toy, a gift from my future mother-in-law, in front of my mom for a month, subtly planting the name Port Blossom in her mind. Why Port Blossom? Because I knew someone was there who had loved her from afar. A man who, in my past life, wept at her funeral and never married. I hoped she would go there and find her happiness. My plan worked. On the train to Port Blossom, I saw a girl filming us. I recognized her as a minor internet celebrity. When she asked to post the video, I immediately agreed. If she went viral, I would become famous and making money would be easy. In Port Blossom, everything went smoothly. We met my godfather, and I made sure my mom knew he was 10,000 times better than my dad. The only thing I didn't plan for was my father showing up. But it didn't matter. I used every trick I knew to slander him, and by the time we left the police station, he had the official reputation of a domestic abuser. My mom used that to finalize the divorce. It was perfect. Later, I really did become famous. My mom and I started making money doing commercials, and we built a new life for ourselves. I'm happy with how everything turned out. My only complaint is that my godfather is taking way too long to officially ask my mom out. She still doesn't even realize he's courting her. Oh, and one more thing. My future mother in law is visiting Port Blossom, and she brought my future boyfriend with her. In my past life, my dad never let my mom take me out to play, so we didn't meet until college, even though we were neighbors. As I watch him, a chubby toddler, trying to build a sandcastle, I think maybe this time we can get a head start on our story. I'm playing with him now, only half listening as my mom and his mom chat. I overhear that my father, Mark, got married again. Apparently, he tried his usual manipulation tactics on his new wife, and she beat him so badly he ended up in the hospital. She studied Muay Thai. She told him she would never divorce him. It's better this way. Let her deal with him. Listening to this, I feel a wave of pure joy. I don't even mind wiping my future boyfriend's runny nose.